Yo guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys sort of a mixture between a collection video and a haul for my comics, my specifically collected editions. I say it's sort of haul and collection because before this past summer I barely had any comics, so everything I'm showing off is essentially my whole collection that I picked up over the summer. And I'm going to show off a few things that I already owned. I might as well just show off the whole collection because it was just a few things. I still have like single issue comics that I'm probably not going to show off just because there's so many of them that I was given by my uncle. And also I picked up some over the summer as well. I'm not going to get super into collecting single issues, mainly collected editions, but there's still a bunch that I own. This is not that video. Today I'm just showing off what collected editions I have, whether that be trade paperbacks, omnibuses, hardcovers, all that kind of stuff. So if you guys are interested in that, stay tuned and let's get into it. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to get started with showing you guys is something that I had a big project lined up for. In my last video, I mentioned that there was something that I was going to be working on for this channel that was a big project, sort of a reading challenge video, and that is concerning Invincible. I have this first compendium. I had this first, I had this a while ago. I think I got it around Christmas time from work, and it was like half off, so I only paid like 30 bucks for this. They typically are like 65. But yeah, haven't read it yet, and I haven't watched the show either. I know that I'm really going to enjoy it, but I just haven't experienced it yet, and I keep wanting to, so that's what this project I'm working on is going to include. Hopefully I can get it started here. The idea is that I'm going to try to read all of Invincible by the time I leave from where I am now, by the time I move and all that. But yeah, I've had this one for quite a while now, almost a year, I think. And then over the summer, sort of like a last shebang, I did go out in a blaze of glory with my employee discount and picked up a bunch of stuff, and I got some manga and all that. I'm not going to show off the manga today, but one of the things I did pick up was I got Compendium 2, and then I did get Compendium 3, so that completes my collection of Invincible, and I have all 144 issues of Invincible, and if this challenge goes well, I'm going to try to read all of them in the next month here, so stay tuned for that. I don't know exactly how I'm going to work that video, but we'll see what happens. The next thing I want to show off is a few hardcovers. Over the summer, I think, well, I don't know exactly when it was. It may have actually been earlier in the year. Or maybe, I don't know if it was last year or early this year, but I started getting into Scott Pilgrim. I liked the movie. I've seen it a few times, really loved it. And then I started getting the comics because I had a coworker who that was one of his favorites, and I had rewatched the movie as well. And then the show came out, the Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, I think it's called. That was weird, almost like I had a speech impediment there. Yeah, the show was great, and it just furthered my hyperfixation with the series and all that, but I know that there's so much in the comics that was left out of the movie, so it's something that I wanted to experience. But at some point I had started picking these up, and these are the full color, like, hardcover editions, which are really neat. Yeah, I picked up a few of these. I don't know exactly when it was. It could have been last year, or the beginning of this year, but I got those, and then my girlfriend got me you guys know Kayla. She got me both of these, number 4 and 5, for my birthday. So that means I only need one more to complete the series, and I'm hoping to order that here soon and get it for my birthday as well, so I can just complete my set. Yeah, Scott Pilgrim, like I said, I really enjoyed the show. I really loved the movie. It's just so quirky and funny, but it also has this badass element to it as well. So it's really a mix of a bunch of things, and I've heard the comic is great, so I'm really excited to read these. Great coming of age. So yeah. Anyway, Scott Pilgrim, got those. Moving on. Now I guess, well, I'll do my non-Marvel stuff first. For the longest time, I also had this trade paperback of BRZRKR. This is the graphic novel done by Keanu Reeves, and basically it's about Keanu Reeves being a super soldier through history. That's what I understand about it. It almost gives me some like Wolverine kind of vibes, which you guys will kind of see. I love Wolverine. Yeah, it's like him in different time periods with different cultures and stuff, being a badass warrior. And yeah, I got this first trade paperback a while ago because it was in our bargain section at work, and I think I paid like $6 for this. And then just a few weeks ago, I went to a local comic book store in Hopewell, Virginia, called the Time Capsule. They're super cool. You guys should go check them out if you're in the area. They're pretty neat. I was there with my uncle. It was right for like his birthday and stuff. But while I was there, he did get me a couple of things. He got me issues number 2 and 3. Actually, I don't remember if he got me these. I think I bought these, but he did pick me up a few single issues that I thought were super neat. But it was that day when him and I went out. So yeah, I actually bought these, but he got me a few single issues. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, really excited to check these out. They're doing a bunch of different BRZRKR stuff now. They have one that's like it seems almost like a Mongols kind of deal, where it's like Keanu Reeves with Genghis Khan or something like that. They have a Western one. There's a bunch of different stuff that they're doing with it that I think is super cool. And they also have that book out called The Book of Elsewhere, where it's Keanu Reeves and China Mieville. And I'm pretty sure that ties into the BRZRKR comics as well. So I'm really excited to read that book. I did pick that up over the summer, but I'm wanting to read the source material and the comics first, just for context and understanding what's going on, I guess. I feel like I would appreciate the book more having read the original comic run. I did want to mention there also is a really cool omnibus coming out, I think this month, here in October. There's like a hardcover edition, but then there's like a slipcase edition. I think it's like $100 or something, so it's not cheap, but it looks super dope. If you guys know what I'm talking about, that's also probably worth checking out. I love the art on it. It's pretty cool, but that's just not in the cards for me right now, so I do have these 3 trade paperbacks. Alright, so moving on, I'm gonna save a specific character for last here. So moving into like the rest of this stuff is all Marvel, because I've been on a Marvel Comics kick. My friend Alex, who I mentioned in the last video and left a link to his channel. I'll probably leave another link to his channel if I remember to. It'll be in the description. But he's been heavy into X-Men lately, and he got me into X-Men, so thank you. I'm going to show off a bunch of X-Men stuff here in a bit. So I like myself some mutants. I've got a bunch of Wolverine, X-Men, some Deadpool stuff. And then also part of the reason why I've been getting into comics and all that was because I saw the new Deadpool and really loved it, and it kind of sparked this hyperfixation of mine. Anyway, so long story short, been on a Marvel kick. So I did get this new Ultimate Spider-Man. This is by, who's it by? Jonathan Hickman. And just to preface, before I continue, I am a complete comic newbie. Over the last couple of months, I've been trying to learn how comics work because it's kind of convoluted, and it's part of the reason why I never really got into it, especially with bigger franchises like Marvel and DC and all that. It's just so convoluted, and how different runs work and different side series and events. I'm still trying to figure it out. So bear with me if you guys are watching this and you're big comic fans. I'm brand spanking new to the hobby. I basically know nothing. So just to preface. But yeah, this is a brand new Spider-Man series run, whatever, by Jonathan Hickman. I've heard that this is really good. It's one of the best Spider-Man in a while. That's just what I've heard. I'm a big fan of Spidey, so I thought, if this is just now getting started, yeah, it's from 2024. I mean, why not get into Spidey with something that's new and actively coming out? So yeah, that's what I decided to do. I did get this trade paperback. Next up, I got Midnight Suns. Now, I got this because I won it, kind of, sort of. I did something at work and was rewarded with this. I just thought it looked super cool. I'm vaguely familiar with what the Midnight Suns is, but the character choice on here is really cool. I like Blade. He's kind of cool, even though the movies kind of sucked in my opinion. Ghost Rider's pretty cool. You got my boy Wolverine on there. I don't really know who these people are, if I'm honest, but Magic is a character who I'm really interested in because she just looks super badass. So yeah, I guess they fight demons and vampires and like supernatural stuff. I mean, that sounds super cool to me. And then on the back here, that art is dope. So yeah, I don't know a whole lot, but I mean, I don't know a whole lot about any of this, but yeah, super cool. Like the team up there. This next thing I got, because I went to Second and Charles, I never really looked at Second and Charles's comic selection, which I really regret, because I'm sure that if that had been something I'd looked through a while ago now, I would have found some awesome stuff for great prices. But the last time I went to Second and Charles was the first time I actually ever really looked in their comics. So I didn't find a whole lot of great stuff, but one of the things I did find was a copy of King Deadpool. I'm not really familiar with the series itself, but the reason I got it is it features Gwenpool, and there's a whole story about Jeff the Shark in this. I don't know how much of this I can show off with copyright and stuff. I guess you guys can pause the video if you want to see that. But yeah, that's really the reason I got it. I've been really into Gwenpool. I just like the idea of the character, and I won't lie to you, her being added to Fortnite kind of sparked my interest in the character. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but yeah, I mean, I'm interested in the character now because of that game, so that's kind of cool. But Jeff the Shark is awesome, and yeah, this is just features the both of them, so that's the reason why I got it. I saw it, and it was like $4 or something, whatever. So yeah, there's that. The next two things are also super cool. This right here, Kayla also got me for my birthday, and that's Cosmic Ghost Rider. Now, my experience with Cosmic Ghost Rider, I only ever knew about this character because of a Funko Pop. They have a Funko Pop of Cosmic Ghost Rider, and now that I'm in it, and I'm picking up a few Funko Pops here and there. I had gotten out of it a while ago. My point is that that's one that I am wanting to get because I think it's super cool, and I like this character a lot. Awesome backstory. Basically, the Punisher becomes Ghost Rider, and he's in space, and he goes to kill baby Thanos to stop him from... He time travels back in time to go and kill baby Thanos to stop him from committing the atrocities that he'll commit later in life. But when he goes to kill him, it's sort of the same idea as, like, if somebody said, would you kill baby Hitler or whatever. It's the same sort of deal, but just replace Hitler with Thanos. But when he goes, he's like, well, this baby isn't evil, you know. So what he ends up doing is taking baby Thanos under his wing and sort of traveling the galaxy with him and changing the future. That's sort of what I understand about it, which is just an amazing concept. I've heard that this is goofy. It's like, even on the front here, there's a blurb that says it's absurd. Yeah, it just looks super dope, and here is the back art on that as well. Like, tell me that is not the most badass thing you've ever seen. Like, that's fire. So, I got Cosmic Ghost Rider. This is the Baby Thanos Must Die. And then I also, at Second of Charles, happened to find Cosmic Ghost Rider Destroys Marvel History. Not super familiar with what this one is, actually. I mean, it just looks like he's murking everybody, but I'm not exactly sure what the context is. But yeah, that's super cool. I really wanted to get the omnibus of the Cosmic Ghost Rider, just because the art on it looks super dope, and it just has everything that I could need, but it's very expensive. So for now, I'm sticking with the trade paperbacks of that, but maybe someday I'll get the omnibus for it, because it is super dope. Alright, so moving on, we've got the man, the myth, the legend himself. Probably my favorite superhero, if I'm honest. Starting off, Wolverine Snick. This is something that you guys have probably seen on the channel before, because the last video I did, like a year ago, before I came back, was a haul July of 2023, which is when this trade paperback came out, and I had picked it up and featured it in that haul like a year ago. I haven't read it yet, but I'm wanting to now, especially because I'm into Wolverine and all that. But what this is it's a Wolverine story written and illustrated by Tsutomu Nihei, who is one of my favorite mangaka, famous for doing Blame, which I haven't read yet, but he also did Bara, which I have read and have reviewed, and it's one of my most popular videos on the channel, so you guys should go check it out. I just really like his storytelling style, where it's a very visual. You know, you'll be confused, but you're not really there for the story. You're just sort of tagging along, and you're looking at the art and the visuals, and it's just really awesome. And I really am a big fan of his work, what I have read of it and what I know about it. He also did Knights of Sidonia. But yeah, this is his take on Wolverine, and this was done, I think, in the early 2000s. Probably in like 2005 or something like that. I could be way off, but I'm pretty sure that's when it was done. But yeah, this edition just looks super dope, and that cover is awesome. And then there's a sticker on here. Let me take that off. Yeah, here is the art on the back. So yeah, I am wanting to read this here soon. Like, yeah, that's some cool stuff. So that was, I guess, the first Wolverine thing I picked up, probably like a year ago now. I guess over a year ago, because it was last July. Not this past one, but you guys know what I mean. Alright, so the next few things, I guess I'll do it in order of when I got it. I got Old Man Logan, Wolverine. This I've actually read, and I'm probably going to read it again here, because there's a video that I wanted to do, reading some of the quintessential Wolverine stuff, and just sort of talking about it all in one video. But I really enjoyed this one. This was the first comic I picked up to get into comics. Like, I've picked, like, stuff like this, I picked up offhandedly, same with, like, the first Invincible thing and the BRZRKR, never with the intentions of engrossing myself in the comic community. They're just things I kind of picked up. but this is the first comic I picked up with the intention of being like, I'm gonna get into comics. And yeah, that was like right after I watched the Deadpool and Wolverine movie. I went and picked this up. In fact, I think my grandfather got it for me or whatever. But yeah, this was dope. I'm a big fan. Sort of is kind of similar to Cosmic Ghost Rider, in my opinion, just with, like, I guess I won't spoil what happens, but where Old Man Logan and his companion, I will say, it definitely reminded me of the Cosmic Ghost Rider situation. But it's just really cool. The twist at the end, you learn what actually happened, why Logan is a pacifist, and you know, when everything comes together, it's really cool, and it's a bloodbath. Yeah, it's just really interesting, and I really liked it. So yeah, there's also elements of it that inspired the Deadpool and Wolverine movie that, I mean, I guess sort of nuances and themes, and even there's a location in this where it's like they drive through Ant-Man's giant skeleton or whatever, which is almost directly translated into the movie as well. So yeah, there's some things in here that's just super dope. So there's that. And I guess with that, I'll show this off. This was the original Old Man Logan that was done by Mark Miller. Then they made another Old Man Logan that is a continuation, but they did it later on, and a lot of those trades are kind of hard to find, so I haven't picked up much of that at all, but I did manage to find one of them. I think this is number 3, maybe either number 2 or 3. But it's called The Last Ronin, Old Man Logan. Yeah, it's just, I'm not sure about it much, but it's a continuation of the Old Man Logan story, and I'm wanting to pick up the rest of these as well, or if they ever do, or maybe they have already done, I don't know, but an omnibus of it would be really awesome. I would pick that up for sure. But yeah, I just really like the Old Man Logan storyline, so I wanted to pick up as much of it as possible. And again, this was at Second and Charles, so I got it for like $3 or something like that. You know, basically dirt cheap for what it is. So yeah, those are the two like Old Man Logan things. And the next two were also gifts to me for my birthday by Kayla. If you guys haven't noticed, Kayla's the freaking GOAT. Just throwing that out there. But I did get Weapon X, Barry Windsor Smith, just quintessential Wolverine breeding here. It talks about Wolverine's backstory, of course. I just love the art on here. It's very striking. And I've heard that it almost reads like a horror story as well. It's almost like a slasher kind of deal, because it's just Wolverine in a lab let loose, and he's crazed and he's just tearing people up. That's sort of what this is. He's a loose animal, you know, a caged tiger that bursts loose, or I guess a Wolverine, whatever, you know what I mean. So yeah, this is, I'm wanting to read soon, to do the sort of quintessential Wolverine reading video. So I'm gonna do the first Old Man Logan, Weapon X here, and then this right here, which is Wolverine 1982. Yeah, Chris Claremont and Frank Miller teaming up to do this, and I'm pretty sure this is what inspired the movie The Wolverine. I think, yeah, The Wolverine, the one where he's in Japan cutting up Yakuza and stuff, and there's like ninjas or whatever. This is that kind of, sort of. I've always been interested in the Japanese culture element of Wolverine. It's never something I really understood. Like, he has like this strange affinity to Japan. Like, I never understood why. Like, you'll see him in some art or in some stories, I guess, with like a katana. I never really got it, but you know, this talks about it here. and is kind of where that all started, I suppose. So, yeah, these two things are probably the biggest Wolverine things I have that I'm wanting to get to very soon. Now, let's get into the big Marvel stuff I have. So these are just my trade paperbacks for Marvel, and I have some bigger collected editions up here. Starting with Gwenpool. Now, this is one that I was waiting on getting this one for a while. I had to wait for it to come back in stock, and then it did, and there was a whole situation with it, but I managed to get it. Super cool. I really love the art on it too. And I'll show it off on the back too. Gwenpool is just such an interesting character. Like her whole backstory of being somebody from our world, and therefore, well, I mean, she's like transported into a comic world, so it's kind of like an isekai almost. But because she's a big comic fan in our world, she knows all of these characters. She knows like all of their secret identities and stuff, and she's basically has infinite comic knowledge in the comic world, just which makes her a huge threat. She knows everybody's weakness, everybody's identity, all that kind of stuff. She knows the ins and outs of the Marvel universe. But because she's in this world, she thinks that everything's fake, and therefore there's no consequences. So she'll just like kill people because they're comic people. But I think what we come to find out is that she's like tripping, and she's actually a comic character, but she's just a super high level mutant, like probably an Omega level mutant, that just has like reality warping abilities, and stuff will happen. She's kind of like Deadpool in how she interacts with the fourth wall, but even crazier, I think, because she's able to like jump through comic panels, and like it's very meta, which is something I like. And yeah, there's just a lot about it that I think is really interesting. I like the art. It features the homie Jeff the Shark, all that stuff. So yeah, I'm really interested in reading this in particular. And this omnibus has everything you need in it. It has the original Unbelievable Gwenpool series. It has West Coast Avengers, which she's in. Gwenpool Strikes Back, which is like the sequel series. There's a different Gwenpool specials, holiday specials. So there's a bunch of like stuff that's like bonus shit that doesn't really matter. But what I basically bought this for was the original. I think it's 25 issue run of Unbelievable Gwenpool, and then Gwenpool Strikes Back. Again, the other stuff is just kind of bonus, but yeah, super cool. That costed me a pretty penny, but I'm really glad I have it in the collection as my first omnibus. So moving on, I guess I should have showed this off before maybe, but there is a chosen method of me collecting comics, Marvel runs and stuff, and that is through the Epic collections. I think that they're really, they're probably the most simple way of reading a series, a Marvel series, physically that is. I mean, of course you could pick up single issues, but that's extremely expensive, especially for older series. You could use the Marvel Unlimited or whatever, but I don't like reading digitally, and part of reading for me is also the collecting aspect of it. So as far as collecting physical comics, especially older series, and then also reading them, I think the Epic collections are probably the best way to do it. They make it real simple, or I mean, at least as simple as it can be with how convoluted comics can be. So there's a couple series I did start through the Epic collections, and the first one here is I did get Wolverine. I think I got this at that same comic store Time Capsule in Hopewell, Virginia. Again, shout out to them. I found this. This is currently out of print, I think. So I can't really find it much places online without spending far more than it's worth. But I did pick it up for retail over at Time Capsule, and that was probably a couple months ago now. But yeah, big fan of Wolverine, like we've established, and yeah, I'm really interested in reading some of his stuff. This is the original Madripoor Knights section of the story, I guess, which includes like Mr. Fix-It, which is super cool. And then just looking at the back here, there is like Silver Samurai stuff, which is also super dope. So yeah, Patch, I believe is what they call him when Wolverine's like sort of undercover. Yeah, super cool. So that's the one Wolverine thing I have. The second epic collection of Wolverine, I think it's called Back to Basics, I think, is currently available on like Amazon or whatever. So I think that's one that I'm also wanting to get for my birthday, just to continue my Wolverine collection. Now, the second thing that I picked up for comics, the first thing, of course, like I said, was the Old Man Logan, but this is the second thing, and that is X-Men. I got the Epic Collection Volume 5. This is the second Genesis, so it sort of starts the Uncanny X-Men stuff, the Claremont run. So this is where I'm going to choose to start my X-Men journey, just because, I mean, if I were to start before this, I've heard it's not great, and there's a reason why it was canceled. This is sort of the quintessential place to start X-Men, is with the second Genesis and Chris Claremont's run. Yeah, can't wait to get into X-Men. I went through a huge X-Men kick watching the movies over the summer. Again, especially after seeing Deadpool and Wolverine. That was something that I did. I binge watched all of the movies. Well, actually, that's not true, because I stopped, I think, after Days of Future Past. I may have tried to watch Apocalypse, but the movies where they're like the prequels or whatever, or like the alternate Days of Future Past timeline stuff, I don't really care for those movies. They're kind of boring, and I didn't really get the timeline, so I didn't watch all of those. But the original, like, early 2000s X-Men movies, I grew up with those, and I know the comics are very different, but yeah, I love those movies, and I rewatched them recently. They're not great, but they're iconic. I also watched X-Men 97, and I really thoroughly enjoyed that. So anyway, my point is, I've been getting into X-Men, but I need to start somewhere with the comics, and this is where I'm choosing to start. There's that, and then I found volume 6 here, Proteus. So this is just the next step right there. I'm not sure what all this includes. I'm not really familiar with what's in this part, but it's just number 6, so it's the continuation. And then I found Fate of the Phoenix, which this one is the whole Dark Phoenix saga, and I at least wanted to read this. It also has Days of Future Past in it as well. So yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna want to read everything just in order from start to finish, just because there's so much. But if I am gonna read like original, like 70s X-Men, and I guess, is it into the 80s? Yeah, into the 80s with the Claremont stuff, I think this is what I'm gonna read. I know there's far more stuff later on too. I kind of wanted to get the Fatal Attractions stuff, and later this year they're coming out with the God Loves, Man Kills, which I'm definitely going to be getting. I just really like the cover of that one, and I've heard that that's a cool storyline as well. So slowly but surely, I'm going to be trying to fill out the Epic Collections for X-Men, which the way that they release these is really weird too, because they don't release them in order. So I don't know. It's kind of weird how they do it, but that's what I have for now. Let me think here. So, like I said, this is sort of the part that I at least want to read for X-Men. After that, I might jump to New X-Men, the Grant Morrison stuff, because that looks pretty cool, and they have the omnibus for that, which I would probably get. But yeah, I do want to read like current X-Men stuff, but I understand that there's things I need to read first, so I'm going to read this, I think, New X-Men, and then some other things here and there. But yeah, guys, that's about it. That's all of the comics that I own that are considered collected editions. Like I said, I do own several single issues, a couple bins of them. It's not that kind of video today. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Stay tuned, because like I said, I have that Invincible video. It's in the works. I just need to get started reading it. It's a little intimidating, but we'll figure it out, and hopefully I can finish it by the time I leave. But yeah, comics are being introduced to the channel, y'all. I'm trying to mix it in here with the normal manga content that I would do. It'll be a good mix, y'all, trust. So anyways, thank you all for watching. If you did enjoy, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already. Greatly appreciate it. Join the Discord. That'll be in the link, or that'll be in the link will be in the description as well. And yeah, guys, that's about it. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.